Hey, what's up? Hey, yes, it's me back on this channel. I am tired, or at least something. Just a heads up. There may be yawning in this video. I apologize. Today, well, not today. I don't know when this is being posted, but in this video, what I will be doing is an event team randomizer. What? No way. Who would have thought? But the challenge is no S tiers. No S tiers. See what happens. No S tiers. So let's try that. Alright. Let's spin the wheel. I don't know how many teams or how many people we're going to do per team. Well, we'll do 10 teams. I don't know how many people per team though. Starting off with Charlie Slimesicle. I think the way I'm going to approach this is I'm probably going to do this... Yeah, just like one by one, place them on the board. Don't move people around, maybe? I'll do don't move people around, and then at the end I will like quote unquote fix whatever is there to be fixed, right? So we have Michael McChill first, then we have Pokimane. Michael with Harvey would work. Michael with Charlie could work. I think Michael with Harvey is a safe bet. Harvey could have gone with Charlie as well. Pokimane. We'll put Pokimane on pink just to kind of set up that like popular team. False up next would be on a separate team. All right. So the thing here is I now cannot really send a super weak group. Oh, sorry. I can't set or I can't commit to a very weak group. Like a squad. Well, we'll assume we'll go for teams of 5. I don't know. Just for fun. Or maybe I'll decide later. But I cannot commit to either a super weak trio or a super weak squad because I don't have S tiers to balance things out, right? As much as I haven't had or haven't rolled an S tier yet, hypothetically also, I think Grace probably should be on her own team. Grace knows Pokimane. Kind of. Surprisingly, that kind of can work. That is an interesting combination, huh? But it technically can work. Scott. Ooh. I mean, Scott's easy, right? Because it's Scott, but, yeah. So I don't have S tiers. I haven't had an S tier yet. I haven't had the need for an S tier yet. However, we'll probably put Scott with false. Could be worth setting up a team with Scott. The Realm team, technically, right? I think Charlie's on the Realm. I think setting up a team with Scott is not the worst idea, though. There are a lot of variety streamers on here, and I have yet to really pull many of them, of course. Not that I've pulled that many people in general, but there's a risk by putting Scott on his own team fully here. Scott can work with Grace for sure. Pokimane, you know, wouldn't be a problem, I think. Would just be a bit odd. I think it's not like a combo that makes sense like that. False isn't like a problem. The thing is, if I get another hermit, who would I put them with? I don't know. Or more so, if I get an excess of hermits, who would I put them with? I don't know. I guess that's the same boat as what Scott would be on a solo team, right? Altrive, gonna go with Della, of course. Dev, we already had. Misty is on the list of S tiers that is not allowed in. So, also let me clarify. Last video, some people pointed out, oh, Wolfie put himself in S tier, but he not S tier. Guys, in the start of the video, I said people that are commonly considered S tiers, in which I even included some people that I also didn't think would be considered S tiers in other events. But within respective events that make sense for them to be considered S tiers. In MCC, I put up an S tier performance, and even in Block Wars, I think currently statistically I am S tier. So, whatever, right? Either way, in this instance, what I did is I also included some people that are borderline S tier, in which I think 5-up actually should be added to that list too. Some people that are either S tier or like pretty much S tier, right? Or widely considered. Oh yeah, definitely like S tier-ish. In which I think Hannah could be debated as well to be put in that tier. I didn't really like look into it too distinctively, right? To be like, oh, this is statistically the most accurate. Well, it doesn't really matter. So we'll see what ends up happening. But Misty at least is not eligible for this roster. Mooney is. Mooney will be a separate team. Yeah. Then Super TF is another variety team in the making, I think, there. Yeah, that's gonna be this. I can already tell there's gonna be a mess. There's Hannah, speaking of. Who would Hannah go with? Probably the Grace and Pokey team. That just makes sense, probably. Really, that's probably a play. Jody is straight to that team as well. Yep. Jody probably would be a little better than Pokey, if I had to guess. So yeah, cool. Curryway, hey, he's an S tier in Block Wars, so he cannot play. Did I ever end up grabbing Curryway? I did not. I meant to. I just glossed over his head on accident. Velvet can go pretty much anywhere usually, but I think Velvet here is a safe one, safe spot. Makes sense. Elena, same team, really. I mean, would make sense, right? Where is Elena at? Elena, probably there. Is statistically accurate. Michael duplicate. I'd honestly even say that between orange and pink, the skill gap isn't that crazy. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's okay. Now, Parky is another different bubble of content creation. However, I don't know if I want to commit to another separate team. Parky can cross over with some of the people on Lime, and I think that's probably the best bet. I don't remember specifically who Parky knows, but there is a level of crossover potential on that team. Say we get Aggie or Smant or Fur or Pooh or whoever, right? That all would make sense. So it's safe enough, I think, to commit to. I'll try duplicate. Rendog would go with the orange team or yellow team, whatever the false symmetry and Scott duo is, of course. Rendog over here. That is yellow. My bad. D-Tune. Now, this is a peculiar situation. D-Tune knows Elena, so would go with that squad. However, in this instance, I don't think I should commit to that as a full team. I guess with no S tiers, the overall comp of this event is probably going to be pretty low. But also, if I look at like green team right now, the team that just has Dev, I have no clue how that team is even going to be able to become something. So we're gonna have to make some choices. Who else would D2 be paired up with? Probably people that they've teamed with in Block Wars. Is that worth making a whole new team for? Probably not. I'm gonna, it doesn't really make sense, but I'm gonna put... I think I want to commit to that. It doesn't really make sense, but I think it's worth doing. Coldy is on the list of not being included. Failboat. Ooh, okay, well, Failboat works on the team over here, right? No, sorry, this one. My bad. Probably there. I am a little worried about that being a balanced team. However, with Failboat there, that does open up the door a bit more for certain Minecrafters. Velvet is a dupe. Cub fan. Well, I mean, hey, we got Hermits. However, the question now is, how many Hermits are we going to get? Because these are some of the easier Hermits to pair up with people. Do I want to take the risk and set up a team with Cub fan? Or put Cub fan somewhere where we can build around more Hermits potentially arriving? Because I would be surprised if these are the only Minecrafters we get, right? I think Cub can be another Minecrafter team to be set up. I'm going to commit to that. Martin I will put with Scott and them. I think is the safest bet. Probably the top frag. Quig is on the list of S tiers. Foolish. I'm actually not sure who Foolish knows in the full extent. I mean, Charlie Slimesicle is good enough, right? That works. Lewis Fulham. This is one of the more interesting picks you can get for this list, because this is probably your top frag for a team. Could go here. Could go here. Could even go there. I'm gonna say that Lewis top frags that team. Probably, right? Who else would I want to get? I mean, I guess, like, no, there's probably other candidates that I need for something like that. I'll put Lewis there. Probably, Lewis there. Ooh. Okay, Lewis may be a more tricky person in a different way than I thought. More so because I think Lewis has too many options. I think he could go many places and would make sense on many teams, but I'm trying to think of what is the straightforward path. I think setting up Lewis with Mooney is not a bad idea. I'm trying to think of who else I'd even want for Mooney. I think Lewis is one of the better candidates to get. Lil Aggie, I mean, I just mentioned Aggie would make sense with Park, or make sense with Parky, if Parky, of course, Park and Harbor, that is. That team is weak, but it is what it is. It is what it is, man. Shelby, I'm gonna put Shelby with, ooh, I have options. Shelby here for the D-Tune connection would be nice. Does Dev make sense there? Not really. But Shelby there is nice to have for the D-Tune connection. Then we have Joko. Joko over here. Joko goes over yonder. Probably that. Makes sense. Misty already got. Or Marceau is already on the list of none. Same with Fruit. Not eligible. Zeus. Okay. Critic Zeus goes where? Zeus is over here. This feels like it could work. This feels like it makes the most sense for some reason. I can't really explain why, but I'm gonna run it. Zeus and Lewis probably know each other. Evbo, not an S tier actually, so that does make sense. Is that might be the play? I'm trying to think. It probably is. Dev and Evbo, I think, would be fine. Shelby and D-Tune would be familiar with Evbo. I don't really know who else I'd hope for besides, like, Booster. To make that make sense. Or maybe a Lifesteal member, right? Or, like, a Pinky. Well, Pinky is a Lifesteal member. Like, somebody like that. I think Evbo there could work. Elsewhere, he'd have to go with... Cup Fan Squad would be probably safe. Just having a family-friendly top frag. Actually, we'll go for that. Rubber Ross, I think is gonna go on green. Right? Probably. No, there. Ross there, I think, is safer. Jimmy here. Where he at? Here. Jimmy knows Shelby, I think. But that's also, again, a combo that kind of works. I don't know if I want to set up a new team. I'll put Jimmy there. It's a bit of an odd combo, but it works-ish. Kara is a great pull here. Genuinely, that she kind of saves this team a bit more. That's actually a good pull. That's great. Bad Boy Halo. I fear I may have screwed up. I fear that Bad has to go on red. Probably as the top frag. I mean, that still works as a team. It's just a bit odd. Sandwich is on the list of S tiers. Bricky. Wow. Probably there. Some VTuber connection. Breaking mostly knows VTubers, so that's my safest bet. Parker. At the worst time, though. At the worst friggin' time. I needed Parker to save this team, man. But then I got Aggie, which, I mean, Aggie should have gone there for sure. From the jump. That makes sense for Parker. This possibly saves that team a bit more. Parker and Dev know each other. I think that's probably fine. That works. A Twal. We'll put the Twal in pink. I think. It's probably the best bet we have, is to put a Twal in pink. Yeah. Jody we already have. Because the Twal knows Pokemon, so that works. Clown Pierce would have also been a cool one for pink. Clown Pierce we put here. Right? Probably. Yeah. I think so. Alright. That's an S tier. No S tiers allowed. Scar. And this is why I wanted to split up the teams a little bit. Because theoretically, had I committed to Cub Fan being on that other team, I now didn't have a choice for Scar that made the most sense. Now this or this both works. Which other hermits would make sense to go here? I think Gem could be cool with that. Cub's also more open to team with new people. I think that's a Scar on yellow is a commitment. Silver is on the S tier list rather. Fit. Also would have made sense on red. But that should be fine, I think. Fit also knows Lewis. This would be a bit of an interesting combo, but should be fine. Super TF is going to be really hard to work with. Cheap Pickle. Set up a new team, I guess. That's not, I'm not super happy with that. Gumi goes with Super TF, I guess. Let's hope that they know each other. I have no clue. Zero clue if they are familiar. Probably not, but maybe they are. Maybe I get lucky. Kyle F would have been great on many teams, but it's probably going to end up on Cyan, which still works. Still a good fit for a player. Where is the K? Kyle F. There you go. Coolio. Andres. Andres goes with Cheap Pickle, probably. Makes the most sense, I think. Yeah, probably. Ethan Nestor would have been great to have a while back. Highest likelihood that he knows anybody on the team is there. Maybe Fit, so we'll put him there. Super again. Just getting cursed. Dave Kratzy is on the list of S tiers. Schrodinger Lee goes on purple team. Helps, I think, probably a little bit. Could have also gone on blue, admittedly, but Froggy Lock, probably just gonna put on blue. Blue will just be kind of the whatever rest team. Joko we already have. Tara we already have. Shira. Probably just goes on blue, but Shira could have worked on what's it called? Shira could have worked on this one maybe, but this is probably better. Poke. Yeah. This is it's turned. Maybe I'm just getting not very convenient rolls, but this turned out to be quite the challenge, huh? This is very difficult. Poke probably just goes there. Dev. We already had Dev. Crowfang. I mean, we're just rolling the remaining players, so Crowfang has to go on this team. And then who's the last? Forcey. Okay. This one is not a very good draft. I mean, red team kind of works. Orange would be fine. Yellow would work great. Lime would just be weak, but it's fine. Green team's a bit odd. Cyan would be okay. Aqua almost makes sense. Mostly. Blue team's random. Purple team's a little random. Pink team would probably be okay. It's just a bit odd, maybe. But yeah, that's the draft, huh? Let's try to fix it, I guess. I'll give it a go. I don't know. This might be really hard to fix. Because the selection of players is quite interesting. First we swap Parker and Andres. Andres with Kara, at least to an extent, makes more sense. Andres with Dev makes infinitely more sense, of course. Kara, Shelby, and D-Tune I don't think I would really touch for the most part. I think that's pretty good, right? That just is a good combo. I would say Parker Forsey should be on the same team, probably. Grace also could go with some form of squad here. Okay, let's see. So I want... What do I want? Okay, we can... If I take off Joko and Poke and Ultra, if that's a combination of people that we would run with, then I want to say you put Parker and... well, you don't need to put Forsey with Parker in them. This makes this team more balanced. Yeah. And it makes sense, I think, for the most part. Who else would Aggie and Parky go with that makes more sense? Aggie's only played rookies, same with Parky. They've teamed with me and Sandwich Lord as the Minecrafters. So that is a little restrictive, isn't it? Interesting. Then we have Shira Frog. So there's a bunch of a bunch of VTuber squad people. That's pretty much everyone, right? Yeah. So that's another difficulty. I think Shelby just goes there for now, and then you put Grace here, which isn't fix the problem. This isn't the squad we would go with, but it's better. I think you take out Zeus here and move this team over yonder. I think we want Kyle for VTubers. Probably. Because Kyle's teamed with Mooney. Boy. Wow. Yeah, that's tough. That's tricky. Foolish goes here, I think. Kind of have to have Foolish there. Because this is a team. We don't change that, I think. There's no other S tier that makes more sense, I think, to go there besides Hannah. Yeah, there's... Or no S... sorry, no top frag, I should say. That fits better than Hannah, so we should just commit to that. I would go for, like, Bricky, Shira, and Froggy. Bricky, Froggy for sure should be a combo. Shira could go here, but I don't know who I would put with Bricky that knows Bricky. Yeah, that would have been... That is quite the peculiar challenge. Who makes sense with Super in this roster, actually, now that I think about it? Who does Super know? Does Super know anybody? I mean, Super would know, like, Pokey. And Jody, maybe. Do I commit to that? Maybe Foolish and... No, I want Foolish there, too. Maybe I don't need the Twirl there. A Twirl is nice, but the Twirl is mostly there for the others. A Twirl could probably go elsewhere. I like a Twirl on this team, though. Okay. Maybe I make it a weak team. I mean, Gumi could also go there, admittedly. Wow. Wow. Even Lee, I think, knows some of the people there. I feel like you have to go for Jody and Pokey together, but then also, if we're really paying attention to it, I feel like you could get away with not doing that. Right? Hold on, let me take out Forsey and Crow here real quick. You could make some combos here that make sense, probably. If you split, so Pokey and Etoile would know each other. Jody would... I would expect Jody to maybe know Lee. Gumi knows Pokey. Foolish would go with Jody. Super... wow. Hannah with Foolish and Lee, I guess? Is that how you'd fix that? I don't know. This is so weird. Such a weird combination. Such an odd combination. I don't know if you can actually properly fix this. This is very difficult. I'll put Ethan Nestor here for now. That might actually just be the team. That probably just is the team. That just makes sense. Yeah, probably. Charlie could go here. And then we put Bad on there maybe instead of Cub. Pretty good. It's pretty much a Realm team. Do I need anyone else there for like a more Realmy team? I think Evba there is fine, right? I mean, I could put Velvet. I think Velvet could fit. But I like Evba there. Then we could do... Okay, wow. We can do Altrive, Poke, or Joko and Poke with Ross. Makes sense. And then Jimmy here, I guess. There. Is it kind of is fine. God. Gumi, Super Etoile, and Pokey's so weird. I feel like you need Foolish there. But you need Jody there too then, I think. I mean, that's just not a strong enough team, but like, that's maybe what you go for. And then you were left with Hannah, Foolish, and Etoile. I mean, Lee can go elsewhere, and then you put Foolish there or something, but still, that's like kind of odd. This just feels like a kind of a weird one. This is just a weird one, huh? Because then I feel like Charlie would make more sense there. Or you take out Evbo here, you put Foolish here, and then instead of Lee, you just put Etoile there, and that's your solution to an extent. Still put Hannah over Gumi probably, just for balancing. So that's pretty much the original team. I don't even remember who I subbed in and out technically there then, but it's pretty much the original team. I feel like this Aqua team now makes sense. The Cyan one makes sense. Kyle and Mooney though is interesting. Wow. Well. I don't know who Jimmy knows. I mean, Jimmy would know some of the people there, so I guess that's fine. Do I just put Kyle with Bricky and this whole squad together? I mean, that could just be a team. And then you put Cheap Pickle there. I feel like you'd end up having a really strong combo. That's the problem. But then this just makes more sense cohesively. And what would you get here? Like 4C, F-Bow, Cub, and whatnot, and then you just throw Gumi and Lee on here or something. And then Zeus. This is for sure not balanced, but like, the teams make more sense now. I mean, even 4C could even sneak onto yellow. Honestly, that shouldn't be a problem. You would take out Scott or... Oh, and you could take out one of the Hermits there and then put them with Cub to make it make sense to an extent there, but I don't know. And then you still have Crow. Crow doesn't really work on that team, so you'd want to fix that to an extent as well. Okay, so let's say you take off Martin and Scar, and then you put on Crow and 4C. This is still a team that works, and this team now works better. I think, probably. This doesn't work that much worse. It works a little worse, but not that much worse. It works fine. I think. Probably not. I'm not very confident in that one though, if I'm being honest. I kind of want to put Shelby and Crow together. But that's seemingly quite difficult. I think. Yeah, probably. What would I even do? I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Is there anything I'd want to change? No, not really from like because I'm trying to think of like, oh, you know, Velvet and Harvey could have like Bad Boy Halo, but do I want that? No, not really. Not particularly, at least. Could I use Ross on a different team? Not really. I mean, Ross is there because of Ultrive. I mean, you could take off Ultrive and Ross and maybe work that into a different team. But what would you do then? I feel like I'm just screwing myself over here. I think, probably, I think that is just shooting myself in the foot. No, I think that's just a team. You just stick to that. You can't really change that much. I mean, Crow there would be fine, and you just have Shelby there. Eh. I guess this is the quote-unquote fixed version. It's not balanced, but, like, the teams work slightly better. There are sacrifices that have to be made to an extent because of certain people that I pulled. Like, I would have put Gumi on pink over Super had I had the option to do so, but I don't. Of course, because Super literally doesn't work on any other team, I think, so that's the only option I have. So yeah. Oh well, anyways, that's the quote-unquote challenge. Thanks for watching, see you.